Alrighty, so in this video I talk about extroverted intuition. What is extroverted intuition? It's an amazing function, also a hard function to manage if you don't, if you're not very skilled with that function. Essentially, extroverted intuition is you have the sensory world around you, and then you have the simulation of that world in your mind. Extroverted intuition is that simulation in your mind. Extroverted intuition is all about simulations about what will happen in the external environment, but it's in your mind, you see? So what makes it different from introverted intuition, right? Or let's first start with, okay, you have intuition and sensory and sensing. Intuition is different than sensing because sensing is what is. Intuition is a simulation based on what that is in the mind. Now we have two forms of that simulation. We have simulations that are based on the external world. So for example, let's say it's 4:30. I intuitively think that my friend will get here at 5 because he always gets here at 5, right? That is based on me seeing him get here around that time every day. That's what gives validity to my simulation that he'll get here at 5. Another unique aspect of the simulation is that with intuition, you can see it, you can taste, you can touch, you can hear. All these things take place within your intuition whenever you're thinking or remembering something that isn't in your immediate environment. One thing that's very interesting about extroverted intuition is that it's predicated on introverted sensing, meaning that your extroverted intuition or the simulations that you imagine are predicated on the things that you've seen happen in the past. So it isn't like these intuitions are coming out of the woodworks or out of nowhere. They come from your everyday experience in life. And what's happening is as you begin to notice these patterns throughout life, your intuition serves as a metric so that you can organize things in your mind on how they should go or how they may potentially play out based on what you've seen, heard, touched, and so on, the 5 senses, all of those things. So what makes intuition so powerful? Intuition is very key because if we base life off of just the things that we've seen, if we just base things off of what's going on right now or what's gone on before, there would be no innovation. All of the innovation that you've seen, all of the things that we've added to our society to make it better or to advance it have come from people being very intuitive to say, okay, if this is how things are now, how can I imagine it being better? Now, extroverted intuition is key because extroverted intuition is the output of ideas. They're ideas that are shooting out and that are based on external things. Extroverted intuition is a function that's predicated on its environment. So you'll notice if you're ever around an extroverted intuitive, they get stimulated by the ideas that the world gives to them. So let's say you're around somebody that's an extroverted intuitive. You might say something and then they'll derive something off of that idea and then go. And then somebody may say something else and they'll say, oh, I like that idea. Let me do this, this, and that. What feeds the fuel, what keeps the fire burning for extroverted intuition is what you feed it, which comes from the outside world, which is a bit different from introverted intuition because introverted intuition is more so taking things as it comes and then intuitively putting them together for themselves. It's something that's kind of happening in the moment. Oh, I see this idea, maybe I can add that. Extroverted intuition, what makes it very unique is that it can pull from any point in time, any place, anywhere. So if you say, okay, a Honda, if you say red, and if I said springtime, extroverted intuition can put all of that together. So I can say I was driving a red Honda during the spring, and I remember that this crazy thing happened. Or what happens if we take a red Honda, okay, you know what I mean, and then we use it in the spring, what does that symbolize? All of these questions are intuitive questions, extroverted intuitive questions. It's taking the outside world that is being given. It's taking certain aspects, the elements that's being thrown at it, and it's organizing them together. That is the goal of extroverted intuition. With that power, it can essentially simulate any situation in time and space. It can simulate anything and find a way for it to make some form or sense in the external world if you were to put it all together. That is the power of extroverted intuition. So let's talk about the pros and cons. What are the pros of extroverted intuition? I kind of touched on it. It's your ability to put anything together. It's your ability to connect a variety of different things. It's your ability to have this amazing skill of being able to have a simulated world in your mind, which guess what? That means you're able to imagine things at a higher level. You're able to see aspects of people being affected, of things being affected in ways that other people would miss. Because while everyone's focused on the outer world that they're in, you're imagining a secondary world based on the outer world in your mind, okay? Which means that you're able to put things together without having to be in that place. It allows you to very much so exist outside of space and time. Because as an extroverted and intuitive, you could be in a classroom with everyone in that classroom setting, but be thinking about something that has nothing to do with this reality. It could be, wow, if I was to make cars in China and blase, but like, you can go anywhere. That's the beauty. Extroverted intuition exists outside the scope of reality. You're not boxed in. That is a pro of extroverted intuition. Another huge pro of extroverted intuition is you're extremely creative. A lot of people have said that already. But why are you extremely creative? Because what is creativity? It's taking elements in the environment and using them and putting them together to create new elements in the environment. So naturally, if you have a mind that can see different things and put things together and make sense out of them, you're naturally going to be creative compared to the people around you who are really just dealing with the creativity that's in their environment. You're able to take what's in your environment and then stretch it. So it gives you a level of intelligence and vision that goes past most people's vision, okay? Because it exists outside of your actual vision. And I'll give one more for extroverted intuition. A very powerful thing about extroverted intuition, it's an idea generator. It's an idea machine. You can't stop extroverted intuition because it could always think of more and more and more and more. So it is the function out of all the 8 functions that drives creativity, that drives constant expression, that drives new ideas. It's all about driving in new ideas, creativity, expression. It's a generator of ideas. And that is very important in a world where we need solutions. We need answers. That's what that will help you with. The cons of extroverted intuition. Let's begin. Organization is a trip because you got to remember, while everyone else is in your environment taking care of the things in their environment, you're over here taking care of something that doesn't even exist in the environment right now. So your time and your energy isn't predicated and focused on the here and now. So organization can be a big problem. And number 2, distractions and not being focused. That's a huge problem for extroverted intuition because just like I said, you're not paying attention to the here and now. You may be thinking about amazing ideas that are based on reality, that are based on what's going on right now. But unless they have actualized into this world through your effort and work, you're really just in the clouds, essentially. And that is a negative of extroverted intuition, okay? Another negative of extroverted intuition is that it is a function that's great for generating ideas. When it comes to preserving ideas, when it comes to preserving things in the world that work, things that are tried and true, extroverted intuition is kind of on the polar side of that, because you got to remember that's more of an introverted sensing type of task of maintaining and preserving what is. When you have a function that's all about moving forward, evolving, thinking about the next thing, it doesn't have the stability that introverted sensing has. So the people that have this function dominant, they are a lot of the time unbalanced when it comes to balancing their ideas with their immediate world. When it comes to holding on to items, keeping things up to date, keeping things preserved. Extroverted intuition is attached to introverted sensing, so it does have that capacity, but it takes work because if you're stuck in extroverted intuition, it's just going to keep bringing you ideas, and it's not going to give you that one solution or those one set of things and principles that works. So I would suggest anybody with extroverted intuition dominant, you want to practice studying things that work, studying things that are tried and true, studying discipline, studying organization, so that your ideas, when they come, can have much more impact and power because you can take them and relate them to the here and now based on your organization and your ability to be grounded, okay? I recommend things like meditation, yoga. For anybody who's an extroverted intuitive dominant that wants to practice focus, I would tell them to study people that have the J function. People that are like ENFJs, maybe ENTJs, INTJs, People who are more so about following through with plans, you want to study that so that you can have that aspect within yourself, because naturally as an extroverted intuitive dominant, you'll be brilliant, you'll be extremely creative, but because you're always flying like an eagle, you never are able to land anywhere and build anything up enough where people can come and experience your creations. They all really end up being mental and being stuck in that mental realm. You know what I mean? And you want to break them out of that mental realm and bring them into the physical. And that will require you to have focus, discipline, and honestly, you have to be passionate. And you have to make sure that you know you're dealing with extroverted intuition. That's what's helped me out as a dominant extroverted intuitive. I already know that I have extroverted intuition, so I've devised mechanisms and I've studied and I've done things to make sure that I can counter that extroverted intuition with discipline, with structure, and with planning. And by doing that, you'll have an amazing balance where you'll be able to have an amazing ability to have creative ideas, creative things coming out of you, but also have the wherewithal and the discipline to bring them into fruition so that the world can experience the ideas that you have in your mind. You know what I mean? So that being said, that's my spiel on extroverted intuition. I hope you learned a lot, and we'll talk soon.